picture this. You walk into your office, ready to go, and nothing. The power's out.
No.
Or, maybe worse, you get that awful alert, a potential cyber attack grinding everything to a halt.
Hmm.
Suddenly you can't work, can't help customers. That feeling, that knot in your stomach.
Yeah.
That's what we're tackling today. How you can make sure your business, well, stays standing when chaos hits.
Exactly. We're diving deep into business continuity and disaster recovery, BCDR, you'll hear it called.
Right. BCDR.
And we're specifically looking at how solutions like Datto Cirrus appliances offer a really solid strategy to keep things running, through thick and thin.
Okay.
We've looked at Datto's documentation, best practices for backups, various posts on business continuity, trying to pull together the key stuff from real-world guidance.
So our mission today basically is to unpack what BCDR really is, why it's like way more than just a simple backup,
Definitely more.
and how specific tech, like this inverse chain thing, plays a role. Ultimately, helping you figure out how to protect your business from downtime and data loss without getting totally overwhelmed.
That's the plan, helping you understand the layers involved.
Okay, BCDR sounds like something every business needs, but what does it really mean? Why isn't it just, copying files to a hard drive?
That's the crucial distinction we want to make clear. Datto positions its Cirrus platform as an all-in-one BCDR solution.
All in one.
Right. And the key is it bundles backup with the actual capability to recover and continue operating after something goes wrong. Their goal isn't just saving data. It's stopping major downtime before it really hurts.
Downtime. Yeah, that's where the real costs pile up, isn't it? Lost work, angry customers, your reputation.
Absolutely. So if basic backup just, saves copies of your files, BCDR is a whole different level.
How so?
Well, think of standard backup like having photocopies stored away. BCDR adds the strategies and, importantly, the tools to quickly restore those documents and the systems they depend on.
Oh, okay. The systems, too.
Exactly. It's about having a plan, sure, but also the tech to get you back on your feet fast.
So Cyrus isn't just a massive storage box, then. It's actively designed to get you operating again. What are some specific ways it does that? How does it keep things running when disaster strikes?
Datto highlights a few key benefits that really work together. The main goal is uninterrupted operations,
Right.
achieved through fast, reliable data recovery. That naturally cuts down time.
Makes sense.
Beyond that baseline, Cirrus lets you quickly restore entire systems, or even just single files. Think about a critical server failing.
Yeah, nightmare scenario.
You need it back online now. Cirrus aims to deliver that speed.
And I think I read something about virtualization, like spinning up a copy almost instantly.
You got it. Instant virtualization. It's a huge feature. If a server crashes, you can immediately launch a virtual version of it, either right there on the Cirrus appliance itself or up in the Datto cloud. Just imagine your main application server dies midday. With instant virtualization, maybe your team is back working before they even finish lunch.
That's huge. That really changes the game from just data recovery to actual business continuity.
Exactly. It provides a working environment almost immediately.
And this isn't just for old school physical servers, right? I saw mentions of different IT setups.
Correct. Cirrus aims for comprehensive protection. Physical servers, virtual setups like VMware or Hyper-V, even cloud systems,
All from one place.
all managed from a single platform.
Yeah.
That really simplifies things, especially if you have a mix of environments.
Okay. Security, always a big one. Especially with backups, you don't want your safety net compromised. What's Cyrus doing on that front?
Security is definitely baked in, multi-layered. It includes immutable backups,
Immutable meaning,
meaning they can't be changed or deleted easily. Think ransomware trying to encrypt your backups.
right, the backups are a target too.
Exactly. Immutability is a critical defense. Plus, it uses encryption protecting data when it's being sent and when it's just sitting there at rest.
And ransomware specifically, I mean, that's the big fear these days. How does Cyrus fight that threat?
It has specific tools for ransomware. It uses something called ZFS-based snapshot technology.
ZFS snapshots.
Think of taking a super quick point-in-time picture of your entire system. ZFS is very efficient and makes sure these pictures are consistent and reliable.
Okay.
Cirrus also uses its own patented scanning tech that actively searches within those snapshots for signs of ransomware.
So it checks the backups themselves.
Yes, if it spots something dodgy, it alerts you. And crucially, it helps you roll back to a clean snapshot taken before the infection hit, without needing a full, painful rebuild.
That ability to roll back easily seems critical. Okay, that makes sense. But let's get into the weeds a bit. What's the core tech making this fast recovery and efficient backup happen? You mentioned inverse chain technology. What is that?
Right, this is a key piece of the puzzle. Inverse chain technology. To really get it, let's quickly touch on how traditional incremental backups usually work.
Okay.
You normally start with one big, full backup. Then each backup after that just saves the changes made since the last one.
Like links in a chain.
Exactly. And the problem is, if one of those one incremental file gets broken or lost,
Uh-oh.
the whole chain after it can become useless.
Right.
Plus, restoring often means putting all those pieces back together with the original full backup, which, well, takes time.
Yeah, sounds fragile and slow, especially when you're already in crisis mode.
Precisely. The Datto inverse chain way is fundamentally different. They call it a rolling base chain.
Rolling base chain.
You start with that initial full backup, yes. But then, each following backup, they call them snapshots, captures the changes since the last snapshot.
So it's still capturing changes.
Well,
How is it inverse then?
okay, here's the clever part. Each of these snapshots is essentially treated as a complete bootable recovery point on its own.
Ah, not dependent in the same way.
Right. Instead of needing to rebuild a chain, every single backup point contains everything needed for a restore at that moment. Newer snapshots just reference data blocks from older snapshots if the data hasn't changed.
So let's say I have a file from Monday. If it doesn't change Tuesday or Wednesday.
Then the Tuesday and Wednesday snapshots don't copy the whole file again. They just point back, saying, use the version stored in Monday's snapshot.
Okay, that's efficient. It just references the original block.
Exactly. That referencing system is the core of its efficiency.
Okay, I think I'm following. So what are the real-world benefits of this rolling base chain for, me running a business?
Several big ones. First, it often means better data compression, which saves storage space.
Good.
Second, it simplifies managing how long you keep backups, that rolling retention. But maybe the most critical advantage for cutting downtime is how flexible it makes deleting backup points.
Oh.
Because of that referencing system, you can delete pretty much any snapshot without breaking the integrity of the others. The actual data block isn't removed until no remaining snapshot points to it anymore.
That's huge. So deleting an old backup point doesn't wreck my newer ones.
Exactly. And the other key benefit, because every snapshot is a fully constructed, bootable recovery point.
You get that rapid recovery.
You got it. No time wasted rebuilding chains. That's vital for meeting tight recovery point objectives, RPOs.
RPO, that's the maximum data loss you can tolerate, right?
Correct. How much data, measured in time, you can afford to lose. Inverse chain helps keep that window really small.
So technically, how's Cyrus doing this? Virtual desks, snapshots?
So for systems where you install an agent or agentless backups for VMs, that first full backup gets converted into thin provisioned virtual disks.
Thin provision, meaning they only use the space they actually need.
Right. They grow as needed. Then every backup after that captures changes at the block level, like the smallest data units, and records these changes as ZFS snapshots of those virtual disks. For things like network storage, NAS, or ISCSI, it's similar. A snapshot captures the state of the whole data set. It's just a really smart way to track and store only what's changed.
Block level changes, ZFS snapshots.
Yeah.
It gets technical, but the takeaway is it's designed to be smarter, more efficient.
And lead to faster, more reliable recovery.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, it's really important to remember, even a super robust BCDR solution like Cyrus is still just one part of the bigger security picture, especially with threats getting more, sophisticated.
Right, like ransomware. The backups are your fallback, but you ideally want to stop the attack before you need the fallback.
That's precisely where the interdependence with antivirus and endpoint detection and response EDR becomes critical.
Okay.
Think of Cyrus as your essential last line of defense. If something nasty gets through your initial protections, Cyrus is there to help you restore everything to a clean pre-attack state.
So what are the roles of antivirus in EDR then? The first lines?
Exactly. Antivirus Datto calls it Next Generation Antivirus Protection and EDR, which they term Endpoint Security Made Easy. These are your frontline troops.
Okay.
Their main job is to prevent and detect threats in your live running environment. They're constantly watching, trying to block malicious stuff before it does damage.
So BCDR is recovery after, AVDR is prevention before, like two sides of the same resilience coin.
Perfectly put. Even the best BCDR system is stronger when paired with solid preventative security. AV and EDR drastically cut the chances of an attack succeeding, and they can limit the damage if one slips through.
And how does Cyrus help if, despite having AV and EDR, something still gets through?
If a threat bypasses those front lines, Ceres gives you the power to restore your systems to a point in time before the infection happened.
Using those clean snapshots.
Exactly. And remember that ransomware detection feature?
Just scanning the backups.
It helps pinpoint which snapshots are clean, letting you recover quickly and minimize the attack's impact.
It really is like a safety net. If the primary defenses fail, you have a reliable way back.
Precisely. And, to illustrate how these layers should work together, think about protecting virtual environments using hypervisors like VMware or Hyper-V.
Okay, VMs.
Datto actually recommends installing their backup agent, not just on the hypervisor itself, excluding the VM data storage, obviously, but also on each individual virtual machine.
Wait, on the hypervisor and on each VM separately. Why both?
It gives you much more granular control for recovery, much more flexibility.
How so?
Well, if just one VM gets corrupted, you restore just that VM. You don't have to mess with the whole hypervisor.
Ah, okay. Targeted recovery.
Right. And if the hypervisor itself has an issue, you can restore its configuration. In fact, Datto specifically advises against backing up the whole hypervisor image with all the VMs bundled inside as one giant file.
Why not? Seems
It
simpler.
lacks that granularity. It makes testing harder, limits your restore options. It's just not as effective for real continuity.
That makes sense. Individual VM backups plus the hypervisor config.
Huh?
More options, faster recovery if something specific breaks.
Exactly. And going back to the AVEDR point, while Cyrus can recover you from ransomware, having strong AVDR means your backups are far less likely to contain malware in the first place. It's all about those complementary layers of protection.
This has been really insightful, understanding BCDR as a whole strategy, not just backup, and seeing how tech like inverse chain works. It clarifies how something like Datto Ceres really aims to keep businesses running.
Sure.
And it's super clear it's not a magic bullet on its own. It has to work hand in hand with preventative security.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about building that holistic approach.
Yeah.
Minimizing the impact, whatever the disruption might be.
So the key takeaway here for everyone listening, truly protecting your business today needs a comprehensive strategy. It goes way beyond just copying data. It means having the right tools, yes, but also define processes to recover fast and keep downtime low. And understanding how recovery tools fit with your frontline defenses, that creates real IT resilience.
Which brings us to a pretty critical question for everyone listening, really.
Yeah.
Considering today's threat landscape, all the potential disruptions, how confident are you right now that your business could fully and rapidly recover from the unexpected?
That's a really good question to ponder.
It's definitely something worth thinking about, maybe exploring more for your own organization's peace of mind.